Alright, this is Pod Jak'd, episode 4, I believe. I almost lost count there. And this episode is going to be about friendship. Walking to a comedy open mic right now in the beautiful suburb. And in Jersey, very quiet. Kind of reminds you of my old neighborhood before it just got too suburban. Before it got too, now my neighborhood's very noisy, it's very active. But I remember when I first moved around, it was beautiful. It was just quiet like this, but you don't get quiet much these days now, do you? No. Well, anyways, so once again, the feedback's been pretty good on the podcast. I know not everyone's gonna, listen, and everyone's gonna comment. Can't expect that. Can't expect even half of the people to do that. But I'm getting a little. Somebody, you guys told me for the most part that you like both versions. You like the IRL and you like the at home. But one person said they like it better at home. But I'll still do those. But because the weather's still nice right now, I'm going to be doing the outdoor ones. And then once the poopy weather comes in, that's what I call it, the shit weather. Well, that's it. I'm going to be recording them at home from now on. Because it's nice right now. It's still beautiful weather, as we all know. Okay. So, friendship. You guys know my views, some of you, that it's all about value. And even though PUA is a PUA term, it's true that in life, most people are not going to want to be your friend unless you have something to offer. I remember when I was a kid, I saw a Pizza Hut commercial. This little kid, it was a stupid commercial, but this little kid, he didn't have any friends at school, and his mom knew that. He was new to school, so she brought in a bunch of pizzas, and then everyone starts eating the pizzas, and suddenly the kid had friends. All the kids were high-fiving him. What is that called, folks? Even though it's a stupid commercial. It's called value. That's right. And even though it's a stupid PUA term, so true. And at first, when I was a kid, I'm not going to give you my whole life story. I'll give you some of it, but I don't want to bore you to death, but even though it's my show. But when I was a kid, I had a lot of friends from school come over to play video games with me. Why? Because my parents bought me all the video games. My parents spoiled me, not because they loved me, because they didn't want me to go out. They didn't want me to really be like regular kids and go over other kids' houses and have sleepovers and ride bikes. They overprotected me, which might sound sweet, but they were too overprotective. And because of that, they bought me a lot of video games. And because I had a lot of video games, kids would come over from school, and I thought I was cool when I was a kid. I had all the video games. I had Sega Genesis. I know you guys remember Sega Genesis. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, everything. They bought me all the games. Almost every week, they bought me a game. And I had all these kids come over. And then as years went by, I realized, my mom would ask me, what happened to this person? What happened to that person? I said, I don't know. And as they outgrown video games, what became popular was bikes. And I did not learn how to ride a bike until I was about, I would say, 12, 13 years old. I was a late bloomer. Because my dad tried to teach me when I was a kid, and I gave up quick. I should have learned, but I was just like, this is stupid. I'd rather just play video games. And I remember kids used to borrow video games from me. Here's a story for you. I remember this kid stole 2 video games from me. I had to be about 10, 12 years old. I had to go upstairs to take a shit. For those who listen to the Josh Cast, my other podcast, even back then I was shitting. And this kid ran out of the house. My sister said, where'd your friend go? I said, I don't know, he left. She said, check your video games. Like, you stole them. I said, he wouldn't steal. She went through all my video games. Sure enough, he stole 2 video games from me. So I started crying. And my dad being the prick that he is, he's the type not to yell at other people. He yells at me instead. He starts making me feel like shit. He's like, you motherfucker. You went upstairs. Why weren't you watching him? I said, I had to go to the bathroom. I had to shit. And he's like, you fucking asshole. I work hard. Because, my dad worked in a furniture shop. Working 40 hours a week, busting his ass. Started working when I was born. By the time I was born, probably making $5 an hour. Until he was making 15, something, whatever. So, he was very angry. And he made me cry. And I got so sick to my stomach, I actually puked in the bathtub. Yes, that's right, folks. We had a bathtub. 6 of us lived in a house. And a bathtub. One bathroom was a bathtub. It was disgusting. And I puked in it. So my mom called his mom. She said, your son took 2 of my son's video games. He came back over. We started arguing. My mom said, okay. And that was the end of the friendship. He wasn't like a good friend, but this guy, we used to like fucking, do prank phone calls and stuff. Not the one from high school, different kid. And so I ended the friendship with that kid. He wasn't like a close friend. And then one of the kids who claimed to be my best friend when I was a kid, he would call me his best friend. He ditched me for a summer. My parents loved this kid. He lived right up the street from my house. And my parents loved this kid. And he ditched me for a summer when he started riding a bike. And then I got mad at him. So he wanted to come over one day after... a whole summer of ditching me, and I yelled at him. I was very honest and real. I said, what the fuck, man? You ditched me for a whole fucking summer, and now you want to fucking hang out? And he was like, oh, no, man, And I had the whole summer I spent by myself, playing video games. I had nobody to fucking talk to, nobody to hang out with, And that's just how it is. And then how that friendship ended was so weird. Pretty much what happened was his grandma, I guess, was getting sick. She was getting ready to die. And we used to walk to school together. I got left behind a grade. And he was a grade ahead of me. We went to the same middle school. And we used to walk to middle school, so I knocked on his door. His mom said he left already. I said, huh. So I get to school. He looks real pissed off. And I said, hey, man, why'd you wait for me? He's like, oh, dude, get out of my face. I said, what? I said, fuck you. He went, you too. And that was it. And then a year later, when I was walking over to school, he got jumped. I got jumped once before, too, but he got jumped pretty bad. These kids punched him in the face and knocked the glass over his face, and he saw me. And then he called my house like a week later and said, hey, can I come over? Like nothing happened. He didn't even say, hey, I'm sorry. He just, just like that. So I just hung up on him. And then I saw him about 9 years later, 7 years ago, I was working at CVS. He used to be fat. He was like kind of jacked. He had like, not jacked, like ripped, but he was in good shape. And he said, you don't remember me, do you? I said, yeah, are you blah blah's uncle? He's like, my uncle? He's like, my uncle was cross-eyed and stuff. I said, oh, I remember, man. That was a long time ago. And he was like, I was like, yeah, of course I remember you and stuff. And he's like, what have you been up to? I said, not much now. I'm just working here. He said, you're not in school and stuff? And then I ran into him years later. So anyways, he used to call me his best friend, but he was like everybody else. He would only hang out with me when he was just bored. When his other friends were around, he could ride bikes and shit. Then he would, So that's why I realized how people identify me as a friend is I'm the guy you only want to hang out with when your friends aren't around. When your friends are around, when your good friends are around, you're not going to want to hang out with people. When you got nobody, who do you call? You call Josh Jack. That's who you call, folks. And that was me. Then when I went to middle school, I moved out of the ghetto. And when I was 14, started living around the suburbs. And I didn't have any friends. I became friends with this Albanian kid. I didn't even know what Albanian was. And then we were friends for about a year. He used to call me his best friend, too. And then one day we went to go play basketball. And we went to the park, and there was all these Albanian kids there. I was like, what the fuck? And I knew that was the end of the friendship. I said, that's it. We're not going to be friends anymore. I guarantee he's going to ditch me for these Albanian kids. And I was right. It took a few years. And then one day I remember he called me out the blue. And then I said, oh, what's the matter? Your Albanian friend's not around? He's like, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know. You used to say I was your best friend. We used to hang out, and then now all of a sudden, he goes, oh, no, you never call me. I said, yeah, because you're always busy hanging out with your Albanian friends. So I saw him after high school, and I saw him actually recently, but some of his Albanian friends didn't like me, and they would, like, make fun of me and stuff. And one of his friends called me gay, but he said in Albanian. I was like, why don't you say it to my face in English? I'll fuck you up. And he was like, so I had 4 friends in high school. Let's go to high school now. I had 4 friends in high school. So when I was in high school, I had like 4 friends, 3 from middle school, and I had one from that I just met in high school. That was the kid I talked about in the last episode. I already talked about him. If you didn't go back to listen to episode 3, the guy that we used to go to clubs together, then he became a bitch and stuff, that guy. So the other 3, one by one, they went away. This one black kid I used to do prank calls with, for those who know my prank calls, he just stopped talking to me. I used to do everything for this kid. I used to let him copy off my homework. I used to let him video games. I let him my CD player. I used to let him copy off my work. I did everything for this guy. Sometimes I would give him food, let him money, and he just stopped talking to me after high school. So one day I saw him. I said, hey, man, what did I do to you? And he looked at me like, huh? I said, what did I do to you? I was like, man, you used to like talk and stuff. We used to be cool. And it's like, you hate me now. So just tell, like, I was like, you don't be my friend. That's fine. I just want to know, what did I do? And he looked at me so surprised, like, no, man, you didn't do anything wrong. I moved back to my mom's house, and I don't live with my dad around here anymore. I don't have a problem with you. So he was already at community college. And then when I started community college, he said hi to me a couple times, and then he started avoiding me. And he thought I wanted to be his friend again, and I didn't. I didn't want to be his friend again. I just want to say hi, that's all. Like, hey, how you doing? That's all. Like a hello. And all of a sudden, he just fucking, spazzed out on me, and he started ignoring me. So I realized, wow. Then this Puerto Rican kid I was friends with at high school, he laughed at me. Well, he didn't want to hang out with me. He used to tell me, oh, I don't have any money. You know what I mean? I don't have any money, and all that shit. And then what happened with him was, he was hanging out with other people, just like the other guy. He didn't want to tell me about it. And he was like, oh, yeah, man, I don't have any money. And then pretty much what happened was I got jumped one day, only one time. I would say I got jumped. I got sucker punched by this white kid. And he punched me. He knocked the blood out of my nose. And I told him about it. He laughed at me. I said, oh, you think that's funny, huh? I was like, I wouldn't laugh at you if you got jumped. And he was like, you got your ass whooped by some little kids. He wasn't, like, little. He was just, like, a few years younger than me. And I said, all right, that's it, man. I'm not friends with you no more. I deleted him off my MySpace and everything. And then he tried to apologize to me weeks later, and that was it. I saw him years later at the Planet Fitness, but I didn't say nothing to him. And then, who else? And then this white kid I was friends with in middle school, he went to, like, a black school and shit. He didn't move, but we just stopped talking as we go to the same high school. And then next thing you know, out of high school, I was, damn, I got no friends. And that's when I started going to chat rooms. I tried to use Craigslist to meet friends. I'll tell you about that in the last episode. I got so desperate for friends, not just PUA, because I was hanging out with these wingmen, but I knew it wasn't real friendship. And I was like, they're not my friends. We're not real friends, but, fuck. I got no choice. I got to go on Craigslist. So I used to post ads, and it was weird meeting dudes off Craigslist. The first time I met a dude on Craigslist, I was like, this is kind of weird. Sounds kind of gay, but I'm not going to fuck the guy or anything. I'm looking for a friend. So I met some dudes off Craigslist. Mostly didn't last long. And then the last friendship that I had, and I talked about this before in the show, was the female friend. Now, I never wanted the female friend in my life as far as hanging out in person. But I got so desperate when I was like, I think I met her when I was 24, maybe? 25? Yeah, I was probably 24 when I met her. And I was like real fucking lonely. I was like so lonely. I would have suicidal thoughts. Like, really, I kept thinking about killing myself, like jumping in front of a train. I would never do it because I'm a pussy, but I used to get so scared I would actually do it. So I posted that, saying I'm looking for friends in my area. She replied to it. She didn't show me her picture, but I typed her email in MySpace, and I saw her picture. I said, oh, a black chick, huh? I said, I don't know if I want to be friends with a girl in general. I knew it was bad, but I was like, fuck, all right, I'll meet her. I don't know, maybe I'll get something out of it. So I met her at a coffee shop. She seemed really shy at first. Then she started texting me, to my surprise. We hung out a few days later. A week later, she saw me do comedy, and she trashed my comedy. She was like, you had good energy and stuff, but I didn't get your jokes and stuff. I was like, well, I'm trying stuff out, and that had nothing to do with the friendship. But then we ended up being friends. And coming over a place after hanging. We mainly just hung on bars. She ended up getting comfortable with me. I came over. I told you I made out with her a couple of times. If I wanted to, I could have fucked her, but the reason why I didn't, because she was in love with this guy who was twice her age, this middle-aged guy, and he was married and had kids. He was old. He was like 50, like my dad's age, and then on top of that, she was already dating some other dude. So I could have fucked her, but I was like, I think it's best I don't fuck her, because she told me that she liked me, and then she told me she wouldn't have sex with me. And then when I said that to her, she said, I don't remember saying that. So we made friends for years, and the only good thing that came out of our friendship was she got me the government job. And the friendship almost ended early because I left her in a bar one night because her friends were going to get there late. And I said, look, I want to go home. I don't want to be out here all night. So I left her there. The friendship was almost over at that point. Probably would have been the best thing. But I got the government job from her. And then after like maybe a year or two working there, I told her, I was like, I'm desperate to move out of my parents' house. I'm about to just move out with anybody. Move in with anybody. I said, I really need to get out of my parents' house. I'm so fucking sick of this, arguing with them, fighting with them. If the arguments were getting real intense with my parents. They were treating me like shit. My mom was breaking in my room, stealing from me. And I was like, fuck, man. So I was stupid enough to move in with her. She asked me, she said, are you serious about getting out of your friendship? And I said, really? And I knew it was like a mistake. It's one of those things in life where you know it's a mistake, but you're just stupid, you do it anyway. So we started looking for apartments together. And she got out of her lease. And next thing you know, I told my dad, I said, I'm moving out of here. And he was laughing at me. He said, who are you moving? I said, I'm moving in with this black girl I'm friends with. He was like, are you fucking her? I said, no. He was like, well, why would you move in with her? I said, because she's the only friend I really have and I want to get out of here. So first my dad was like, he thought I was joking. But then he was like mad at me. I asked him to help me move, and he was like, you're a fucking asshole. I said, oh, I'm an asshole because I'm 20-something years old? I'm supposed to be out of here when I was 18. He's like, no. He's like, but he was like, you're fucking... He called her, an asshole nigger. That's what he called her. And he ended up being right. She did turn out to be an asshole nigger. But he was like, oh, I can't believe you're moving in with her, moving out of here and stuff. So I moved almost 4 blocks away from my parents' house because I needed to be close to public transportation to get to work and school. I was still in school. And I tell you the story. She turned out to be the roommate from hell. When she pitched moving in with me, she was like, "Oh yeah, it'll be great. We'll be good friends. We'll have game nights and stuff, and we'll be good friends." And then as soon as I moved in with her, it's like I didn't even know her. So she started bringing guys over. I told her, I said, look, I don't feel comfortable you bringing guys sleeping over here. She kept doing it. One night she kept me up late at night. I sent her a text and said, hey, can you wrap it up because I have work in the morning? And she started goofing on me. She started making fun of me like, oh, he's going to sit there and try to act like he owns me and everything. She was drunk and everything. So when her friend left, I said, look, I'm paying fucking half rent here. Stop fucking disrespecting me. I was like, I'm paying half rent so you can pretty much bring friends over to disrespect me. I was like, what the fuck, chill with that shit. So I yelled at her. We kind of made up for that. And then she just kept doing it. And then the last straw was she had this dude over and he was like taking a shit in my place, which is like, all right, your friend's got a shit. And then she was like, dudes would take the shower. And I was like, I'm paying half the rent so she can have guys come over and just, like this place is like a bread and breakfast or something. I'm not paying for that. So I moved out before I even talked to my landlord. She said she was going to sue me and take me to small court claims. But she said, look, if you just pay what you owe, I won't sue you. And I lied to her. I said, okay, yeah, we can still be friends. And then I ignored her. She tried texting me. She tried calling me, leaving me a voicemail. She tried Facebooking me. I deleted off my Facebook. And that was it. The friendship was over. And then she sent me one last text. She was like, hey. And I ignored her. And that was it. The friendship was over. And, I moved back into my parents' house and stuff. And as I said, the first month, it was actually okay. I was like, hey, this isn't bad. At least I don't have to worry about random guys being over here. And then a month later, I got depressed. I was like, fuck, my life is over. I was 28 years old. I was like, my life is over. I had my own place, even though I had a roommate. I felt like I was kind of starting my life. And that's it. It's fucking over. So that happened, and I was fucking pissed. And she was like the last friend that I had. Like, I know a lot of friends from comedy, but I use the term comedy friends because that's what we are. We hang out at comedy open mics, but I don't really know if I would call any of them actual friends. Maybe one guy, maybe two I could think of. But for the most part, I use the term comedy friends because that's what we are. So it's pretty she was like the last friend I actually had that was outside of comedy, and that was it. That was pretty much it, man. We stopped talking, and I ended the friendship with her, and it was pretty. It was just, that's just how it was. It was just over, and she was like the last friend I had, and I'm glad it's over. Fortunately, now here's the thing: I got mad about the money because I realized, wow, I wasted a lot of money. But then I realized she got me the government job in the first place. So without her, I probably would have got some shitty restaurant job or something. So she got a cut of my money pretty much, which is like, sucks, but look, I can't forgive her for that. Even if she offered to pay me $5,000 right now, which she never would, then maybe I would maybe forgive her, but I still want to be her friend. So that was it. And as far as my take on friendship goes, I'm pretty sure most of you agree. It's all about value. Most people in life are only going to use you. Friendships are temporary. There's a few good friends out there, but they're hard to find. And most people are only going to hang out with you when they don't have anybody else. You got to have something to offer. And if you don't, you're not gonna have any friends. You're going to be lonely. So ever since I kicked her to the curb, I've been hanging out by myself pretty much. I get lonely. I'm not going to lie. I can text people, but it's just no point. So as far as wrapping these thoughts up on friendship, pretty much it's, look, I'm not going to say there's no real friends out here. That's a very jaded thing. We all need friends, right? We all need friends in this world, because sometimes if you're like me, you may not be close to everybody in your family. And I'm close to my family, but not everybody, you know? So it sucks, it hurts, but as far as tips on how to get through loneliness, you got to keep yourself busy. You got to really keep you busy. When you get those hurt feelings of feeling lonely, you got to just, hang out by yourself, find activities and stuff. I could text people and hang out with them, but I know that if I do, and then when I do text people, they always ignore me. And that's one of the reasons why I don't text people. When I text them, they ignore me. They're busy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to deal with this shit, all right? I'm so sick of everyone's excuse. I'm busy. I didn't get your text. I was going to call you back. I dealt with that shit since middle school. And I go, the best way to avoid that is not to text people at all. So now I'm like, if you want to hang out with me, you got to text me. If you want to hang out with me, you got to call me. If you don't, that's it. We just don't hang out. So I'm going to be. I realized when I was out of high school that I was going to be a loner for the rest of my life, but I didn't want to accept it, and that's why when I was 22, I was having suicidal thoughts. I didn't want to live. I said, I don't want to live. How can you live without friends? And then now I'm the same place I am now. Like, I go out Saturday nights and I look at people hanging out, and I'm like, why can't I have that? Why can't I have what they have? Why can't I have friends? Why can't I just go to a bar? Why can't I realize it's not going to happen, and just leave people alone. Just go your own way. And if you get used to it enough, you'll get used to it. Yeah, once in a while you're going to be hurt. Yeah, once in a while you're going to feel like shit. But just keep yourself busy. And that's that. So I'm going to wrap this up now. I'm pretty much holding this little penis microphone in my hand, and I'm talking around this big bar with cars going by. I don't care what people think. Next episode, not sure what the topic's going to be, but thanks for listening. Looking forward to your comments and all that. Pod Jak'd, episode 4. I'm out.